Okay, summary for Crisis at Steamfall. Very exciting.
Woo.
First off, Steamfall, in a lot of, I guess you'd call them spiritual ways, resembles its older brother. Oh, there goes a token.
Oh.
Resembles its older brother, Assault on Doomrock. In that, while on the surface it's, a Euro game of, action selection and that kind of thing, it, in play and in feeling, is hard to compare to anything. It's a game that feels very, very much its own, and very different from, any other attempts at that we've tried, at least, and we have several hundred bazillion games.
Yeah, maybe one or two.
It seems kind of like the designer's MO to, kind of take a standard trope and go completely crazy with it. I mean, this is the most thematic feeling Euro-type game that I've possibly ever played. I mean, I'm trying to think of, Terraforming Mars felt pretty thematic, but
Terraforming Mars is
thematic.
really
I mean, there is competition for sure, but it is up there. Or Dominant Species, that's another good one. I mean, I felt it was thematic. There is disagreement, obviously, but
what?
we'll get into that one hopefully soon. Hopefully in the near future, Dominant Species is on the review list. Anyway, this is not a video about Dominant Species.
Or future review lists.
Yes. Anyway, as I mentioned, I think briefly in the intro, the action tree building creation system, I keep calling it action tree, it's the column system, but it is really, really exciting and nerve-wracking, honestly, because as you add things, you are stuck with that configuration forever. When you choose to add a manipulate to a column, that column is stuck with that manipulate, regardless of if you need it somewhere else later, or if you'd really rather it just be a happy face, or what have you. I mean, so you have to plan not just for the turn you're taking, but for every future turn.
Yep.
Now, the flip side of that coin is this game will induce AP like possibly nothing else ever made, because everything you're doing has an unearthly significance to it.
It does.
Everything. In the cooperative game, if you watched that one, you would have seen us, dealing with crisis cards fairly effectively, but at the end of the day, they're irrelevant. They're not how you win. You have to deal with them to keep from losing, but they're not actually a victory objective.
There's two victory objectives. Beat the pylons, survive 3 rounds.
Right. So, you are going to see people going like this for a long time. But, it's absolutely worth it, and not terribly frustrating in this game, because you're going to be doing the same thing while they're doing that, trying to figure out your turn and going, well, if I go here and then here like this, and then 2 moves later, I could eke out a point. A measly point. But very low scoring game. Very low scoring. Which makes each point much more exciting.
Yeah, much more precious.
I'm pausing the steamroll in case you'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, I'm used to just jabbering on endlessly because it's dead air otherwise, but now it's not.
It's not. I really like it. It's aesthetically pleasing, it's challenging in the co-op, it's challenging in the competitive, and it's unique. I was trying to describe it to our friend the other day, and I just I couldn't compare it to anything that they'd played with us, other than it's really cool and the theme is awesome.
Yeah, right. The art isn't final as I understand it, but it's already got a great vibe of dark and yet light. The use of... It's dystopian steampunk, but in kind of a happy way.
Right?
Like if Studio Ghibli made a dystopian steampunk movie, for those of you familiar. It also does an absolutely wonderful job of thematically and narratively connecting the competitive and co-op games. You know, you're basically a bunch of jerks in this game. You really are. You wreck everything, and then you're like,
maybe I should fix that.
Might want to do something about this because I live here.
Yeah.
You know, you're basically a bunch of jerks, really. But you're cool jerks. You're
Right?
cool and interesting.
I have a giant gorilla.
You didn't get to see the other two characters, partially by design because we wanted to leave some surprises for you.
They are pretty cool.
But also because we've absolutely fallen in love with our particular characters, Alice and Jim over there.
And Bean.
Yes. Who just, they're so different from each other.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just so different.
And the other two are as different as these. I mean, every character is
Right.
unique in there.
So not only is there two complete game modes in this box, which are significantly different game modes, but with minimal component changes, but each character feels almost like a different game unto their own.
Yep. Well, and there are enough cards in there. There are some cards we still haven't seen yet to play with, and we've played several times.
Now, there are a few, little issues there that, kind of chatted back and forth with the designer about. I feel strongly that the game would benefit significantly from a fourth round.
Yes.
There's a few things, like, say, the fourth action column will rarely get used because you need to focus on building up the columns where if you choose it, you'll have more than one action. So you're going to see a lot of, like, what I did in, I think, both games, where you front load the first three columns and then the game ends by the time you're really even thinking about the fourth.
Or maybe
third.
an ability to use an extra column at some point.
Right. There's all sorts of ideas being spitballed, and the designer, is absolutely receptive to feedback. He's, in fact, he kind of nudge, wink, wink when he sent us our prototype, like, hey, if you have any suggestions, feel free to, very, very receptive, very open to ideas. I mean, not that he's going to just agree with anything somebody says, but he's listening, and that
counts.
Normally I won't go into anything other than the game, but I wanted to mention that the designer's overall attitude has just been remarkable throughout this. When he first asked if we were interested in doing a video of this game, he asked if we wanted to do either a paid preview or a actual review, and we don't like involving money in any of this, so we said actual review. And I asked him when he'd like the video to go up, and he's like, well, maybe a few days before the Kickstarter, or if you hate the game, any time is fine.
Right.
Think about that for a second. If you hate the game, just do it whenever. Not, would you mind waiting until after the Kickstarter, or please just don't do it at all, or anything like that. Just, whenever. Go ahead.
Put it up. Yeah.
Yeah, no attempt to obfuscate or, cover up opinions that could be damaging to him. Just, do it. Do it whenever. And, well, considering when this video is going up, our opinion should be obvious in that it's a
good game.
By far the most complete prototype we have played. This is an absolutely functional game that odds are we'll keep for a long time because I love the handmade wooden pieces. I just think they're awesome.
We are a sucker for wood.
Oh, yeah, no. And lamentably for you, you get cardboard, so ha. But
well, they get a finished product.
Yeah, fair enough. Yes, probably with more characters and all kinds of cool stretch goals and
there
all
are
that cool stuff. Oh yeah,
variants.
We didn't have any chance to get into the variants as yet, simply because there's so much game here that the month and a half we had our prototype was only enough to play the actual game to try and understand it. It's I know there's a lot of people out there, thinking that everybody just, gushes over the latest Kickstarter and blah, blah, blah. And that's why I specifically mentioned that we were offered the possibility to get paid for this if we wanted to and declined. This is not some kind of, bias issue here. we're not interested in your money. It's, you know, we
just
do
like
it
to
for the
play
fun of
games.
doing it. And this is legitimately very fun.
It is.
It's just really cool.
If there weren't quite so many bits, I'd take it camping with us.
Well,
like to
and
keep our-
when you get into 3 and 4 players, you've got a whole
nother row.
larger section
This
of
game
board.
scales really well. That's
Yeah.
one thing we hadn't mentioned. It scales really well for 2 to 4.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Excellent progress there.
There
And
are
like I said, the character. I'm
extra
not going to tell you
tiles.
about the other characters. You need to be surprised. They're fun. Yeah. So honestly, I think we've about hit all the bases there. It's
Yeah.
absolutely check out the Kickstarter, or if you're watching this in the future, check out
Check
a
out the
production
game.
copy. I mean, watch some other reviews, whatever you like to do. But this one is one to pay attention to. Normally, I'd mention price and value, but I honestly have no idea what that will be. So, but I have a feeling that unless he's asking, you know, $200 for it, that you're gonna get your money's worth in gameplay. In fact, I at one point compared it to a Splotter game. Yeah, it's going to be, you know, in the case of the Splotter games, expensive. Again, I don't know about this. But the gameplay you will get out of it and
worth it.
the simple rule set for the incredible depth of the game is absolutely mind-blowing and awesome.
Yep.
Anything else you want to add?
No, I think you covered it pretty well.
Okay. Well, beautiful. Then I guess
say.
we'll wrap her up here. So, this chair out of my face. Until next time, get off your computer and play some more games.